Welcome to my crash course covering ARMA Reforger's Conflict game mode in version 1.3 of the game. We'll cover topics that will hopefully ensure you can be successful as a new player and provide tips that even experienced Reforger players may benefit from. If you're looking for additional resources or would like to play in our community server, check out the links in the description. Conflict is an official multiplayer game mode in which opposing factions spawn at a main operating base and capture command posts occupied by an enemy force. Starting out, these command posts are in control of the FIA faction, which is composed of AI players. Clearing out a command post or outnumbering the enemy begins capturing it, after which you can build a radio relay to extend your team's radio network, allowing you to spawn at the base. After the relay is built, you can then capture points now in range of your extended radio network and see who is in control of the point, denoted by a colored box under its name. Strategic objectives are denoted in purple text on your map. The strategic objectives are usually located in military installations with buildings surrounding the command post. Strategic objectives start out with thousands of supplies and are beneficial to capture in the early game so your team can motorize more effectively. Capture the required number of strategic objectives before the enemy and a 5-minute game end timer will start. The timer will pause if the opposing force contests one of your strategic objectives, and the timer stops completely if they successfully capture it. Points that you cannot capture yet are denoted by a golden icon on the map. Extend your radio network by building radio relays and controlling communications towers like the one at Entredu. This makes communication towers a common point of conflict since they can be controlled in a short period of time. When joining a match, make sure if you're playing with friends, you know which team they're on, as once you select a team, you will not be able to change it. Then you can join a squad. You can change squads at any time from the group menu, but joining a squad allows you to respawn their radio backpack if they have one, and your radio is automatically tuned to that squad's frequency. The first thing you'll do when spawning into the game is build a radio relay if no one else has. Walk up to the bulletin board in command tent and build the radio relay somewhere out of the way. You'll notice after placing the relay down that there are metal posts surrounding its placement. This visually designates a composition that was placed in pending a build. Use your E-tool, aka shovel, in your inventory to show the building silhouette and start building it up. Beware that even if it's not built yet, the resources to build it have been consumed, so be sure to build what you place. After placing the radio relay, you will see that your radio network, denoted by red lines extending out of your base, has been extended and you can now capture nearby command posts. Be sure to assign yourself to the objective corresponding to the command post you're attacking so you can get bonus XP. This will significantly help in the early game to advance ranks for new vehicles and equipment. After capturing one of the command posts, the first thing you should do is, you guessed it, build a radio relay. The relays act as spawn points, and I prefer to build them away from the command post, towards a friendly capture point, and possibly in trees where you cannot typically build other structures. If you find yourself not liking a pre-existing composition or building placement, you can use your E-tool to disassemble it. If you brought supplies to the base, the next thing you should do is build a heavy vehicle factory to help accelerate supply runs. You should consider which route will help you avoid enemy traffic and capture points on your way to the supply point. Supply points are designated by a green circle on the map. The heavy vehicle factory should be placed near a road or pathway towards that nearest supply point. When building the heavy vehicle depot, rotate the composition to your liking, and if you make a mistake, you can right-click its icon to delete it and replace. Supply locations are scattered around the map, and the actual supplies are located at camo netting, a tent, or a shipping container. Each of these supply compositions has a sign in front of it which can be used for advanced supply loading techniques I'll get into in a minute. For now, go to the Heavy Vehicle Depot's white sign and get a logistics truck. If you misclick a vehicle, right-click to disregard the action and select a different one. On Everon, Fagari and Provence are two of the best bases to defend and create an optimal base for supply runs. As you'll see in this clip, a well-planned supply run can be completed in around 1 minute from Provence. By default, supplies must be loaded and delivered a minimum distance of 200 meters, and you must survive the supply run to get XP upon its delivery. You can load a vehicle with supplies by parking it close to the supply point and selecting Load Supplies from the trunk, or for a faster method, you can drive the vehicle and place your body close to the supply point sign, go to your inventory, close out of the trunk, and drag the supplies into your vehicle. Keep in mind that different vehicles carry varying amounts of supplies, so try to get a larger vehicle so you can get the most out of your supply run. As you're making your supply runs, be sure to activate the vehicle's handbrake before getting out so you don't end up like the guy in the next clip. You may have also noticed a sneaky cut earlier when I got into the vehicle. On my first run, I clipped the tank traps and got my truck stuck. I'd recommend bringing explosive charges with you to blow up any obstacles which may slow you down. Here, I'm using a landmine directly under the tank trap, getting far enough away and shooting it to set it off and clear the trap. These traps can also make you a sitting duck and vulnerable to attack if you have to slow down to reposition the vehicle.
American vehicle here. Oh, Americans here, Americans here.
After making enough supply runs and getting to the appropriate rank, you can start building out the base for XP and additional resources. In this example, I have the heavy vehicle depot and light vehicle depots close together to make getting a vehicle easy. The living quarters reduces the cost of spawning and acts as an additional spawn point. The field hospital provides medical equipment. There is one ammunition depot for extra supply storage and one central to the spawn points with cover from gunfire that will be the primary point for gear. I've also positioned a machine gun nest towards likely helicopter flight paths and the field where an enemy is likely to attack from. In general, consider vehicle traffic, supply drop-offs, enemy attack angles, and spread out buildings for cover and spawns. Note, all of these structures also act as supply storage. Drop off supplies at the dome-shaped cover attached to areas like the living quarters or hospital if you aren't sure where to go. As you engage the enemy, it's generally better to aim for the belt at close ranges for reasons I'll get into in a moment, and to double tap your enemy's body to ensure they're dead and not unconscious. If you go up to a down player and see the check for injuries prompt, that means they're still alive and can get back into the fight. Not correctly compensating or adjusting zeroing may cause you to miss your shots. Always remember to keep your weapon on full auto for close engagements and stay near proper cover so you don't get caught with your pants down in a firefight.
Got three.
And this is kind of a random tip, but rocket helis can sometimes be a nuisance. If you've got the shot, take it. You never know when you get lucky.
He just got Lex.
And finally, using your scroll wheel to adjust your movement speed can make for sneakier movements that are less likely to be heard by the enemy. At the ammunition depot, you can customize your loadout. A number of items are rank locked, which will require you to gain XP by delivering supplies and taking objectives, for example. When you down an enemy, check their clothing for valuable intel. You can return this to your arsenal for varying XP depending on how valuable it's considered. As you're choosing your gear, be mindful of the resource costs of what you're gathering, which can be seen on the item, and your base's total available supplies located at the top of the arsenal inventory. Any items you drop from your own inventory will be deposited into the arsenal and grant some of the supplies back. If I'm swapping my uniform, I like to either move equipment to something I'm keeping like a backpack, or drop it on the ground so I don't accidentally lose valuable equipment when exchanging the clothing. Once you're done, save your loadout. You'll see some text in the top right corner of your screen which specifies the supply cost of your current loadout. Every time you respawn with this loadout, that amount of supplies will be removed from the base's supply pool. Keep in mind that loadouts cannot be saved if you have a radio backpack or items from an opposition faction. With a radio backpack in my inventory, I'll now show how to use it as I attack Shotain. After reaching your destination, you can drop the radio backpack on the ground and select Deploy from the action menu. Keep in mind that a deployed radio makes noise that is detectable from a decent range and may lead enemies to the radio where they can dismantle it. If you get too close to a command post or some other areas, radio deployment will not be available and you'll have to walk away to find a new place to deploy as shown here. A better location in general that doesn't tip off enemies that you have a radio would be in a nearby tree line with cover. Here, I'm positioned pretty close to where I was before, but I can now deploy the radio in a bush where it's less obvious. You'll notice after deploying the radio that it's visible on the map for your squad and it has a number above it indicating the number of supplies available, which by default is 100. Each time a teammate respawns on the radio, 20 supplies are removed until it eventually reaches 0. If you know where supply caches are on the map, you can place your radio here and it will automatically use nearby supplies for its supply pool. If you respawn at a base with your loadout, you can right-click on the map and use the Transport Request function from the radial menu, then select your radio. Your crosshair will then change and you'll have to click on the same grid area as where you're physically located. At spawn, this is easily denoted by the orangish deployment icon on the map. After the fast travel completes, you will be somewhere in the area of your radio but not directly on top of it, which may inadvertently lead to fast action. This method of going to your radio does not cost supplies and can be used once its supplies reach 0. Note that there is a timed cooldown on fast travel, so use it wisely. Respawning directly to the radio puts you exactly at its location, but generally only with your default loadout. Note that you will not be able to respawn on the radio if enemies are near. If you find an enemy radio backpack, you can dismantle it, removing their ability to spawn at that location. I recommend picking it up and relocating it somewhere else though, so they cannot walk back to its position and easily redeploy it. As you play, you will certainly be injured, and if you sustain enough damage, you may fall unconscious or break bones. Once you're able to, pull out your bandage and then bandage yourself. It may take multiple bandages to heal your wounds. Note that tourniquets can also be used to turn major bleeds into minor bleeding, but it also restricts movement. If you find yourself moving slowly, you may have broken a bone and need to inject yourself with morphine. You can head over to the medical tent to get additional medical supplies if needed. Note that blood loss will make your screen grayscale, and a saline bag can fix that. If one morphine doesn't do the trick, keep taking morphine until your movement comes back. If you encounter an injured person in the wild, you can check them for injuries and look at their limbs to see where you can help apply a bandage, tourniquet, or inject them with morphine. Just try to clear the area first.
I got you.
Thank you, man. Oh, what the hell was that? It's getting all gray, man.
Good. Jesus Christ.
After killing an enemy, you can search their clothing and take the radio off their body to listen in on their communications. Some servers may even allow you to transmit on the enemy radio, but by default this is disabled.
Hey team, be advised that some camper at the hospital just killed me.
If there's too much chatter on the radio or someone's being annoying, you can open the radio menu by pressing G and then press R to turn it off. If you want to turn off just one frequency, you can adjust the platoon or squad frequency to something with less traffic by using your scroll wheel. If you're having troubles with the radio menu, equipping your radio and holding R to inspect it will allow you to interact with its dials or turn it off. When talking in game, whether in local chat or on the radio, keep in mind that nearby enemies will be able to hear you. This can make for some interesting moments such as this one.
I'm gonna get radio about talk.
I'll grab one too.
Look at my helicopter.
Nighttime fighting can be challenging, and I recommend equipping a suppressor or flash hider to ensure that muzzle flash doesn't blind you. If you want to use your flashlight, press L on your keyboard and then R to turn it on. To change your flashlight's colors or brightness, you can hold R to inspect the flashlight, then use the prompt to change its colors. Your flashlight is an invaluable tool for clearing buildings in the dark or for ensuring you don't walk into barbed wire in your own base.
Three-story building. I just got one.
Shit, I think I'm right next to that.
Flares are another useful tool for spotting enemies at night. At the weapon arsenal, grab a grenade launcher, or as an American, a weapon with a GL, and then load up your inventory with a couple flares. Once you're in position, equip the grenade launcher. By default, a fragmentation grenade is loaded, so go into your inventory, hover over the flare, and hold F to load it. Once ready, launch the flare and go to work. The final thing I'll mention is navigation. If you're lost, look for landmarks or city signs that may help pinpoint your location. Here, I know I'm just outside Regina, and there's a radio tower on the mountainside, so I figure I'm in the south side of Regina somewhere. While driving, you can also equip your compass by pressing K on your keyboard. On the Soviet side, the skinny part points north. If you need to communicate the position of something with friendlies, you can right-click on the map to place a marker visible to your team. I hope you found this guide useful. Again, if you're looking for servers to join, check out the links in the description where you can find information about community-hosted servers run by myself, or you can ask questions in our Discord. And have fun out there.